Help, help, I'm being oppressed.
No, don't oppress Jay. Okay, Jay, you're good.
I'm being silenced! I think I did this joke
No!
before.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Snail, and welcome to a short Odyssey game. Do we still call it a 12 frames per second game? I have no idea. We will discuss that at a later time because right now we are jumping into the action. But before we jump into the action, my beloved co-host, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jay. Everything's fine.
Everything's so incredibly super fine, both for me and Jay, which in which case this is actually reality.
Yeah.
And for Tsugi and Frankie, in which case this is definitely totally 100% reality. Everything is so super duper fine. Because we are just jumping back in time. If you're listening to this chronologically, yes, we have just been teleported, but now we're having a flashback. Don't worry about what's happening with the
time
teleport.
zone noises. That's my rewind noise.
Don't worry about what's happening with the teleport, because we can't fix that until next week.
Fine, it's fine. Just like this session, everything is fine. We've gone like 12 feet to the left and we're in the warehouse next door. I'm sure. That's all it is.
It's fine. Okay, I gotta get this going. We have a little rewind voice. And we are in between the sessions of the first arc and the second arc. We are notably after, the whole big deal that happened with the Museum Hermetica. And
all of that.
Yeah, all that's happened. But we are actually at one of the times that we are having one of our media reports. Dr. Boffin and Dr. Weird have been contacting families and trying to make sure that they know roughly what's going on, because there are some details that are incriminating that we don't want to get to the press. But they're trying to be as open as possible. With everything that's gone on. There's been a lot of contacting of families. Frankie has been completely on top of it.
Frankie's been great at this. She has been helping. She is very good at talking to people. She has been... I think Kai mentioned that the two doctors are not necessarily, like, always the best people you'd want to put in charge of handling a humanity, like a human/toon kind of feeling situation. That can, that's not what they're paid to do. Frankie was paid to do it for a short while, so she at least knows technically how it's supposed to go. And she's been, like, for the past, like, how long has it been? Like a day, 2 days?
Let's make it 3. Let's make it 3 days. We're not
a nice
the
round
full
number.
weekend. But it's been 3 full days of trying to contact people. Media has been contacting back. We've been reaching out to more of the grieving families. And Frankie has been at the forefront. Which makes it extremely weird that during one of the times that at the front of the museum, there is definitely another media conference. Tsugi, who has slipped out the back because there's no way in hell he's dealing with any of this media crap, comes to the porch for a quick smoke break, and finds Frankie on the porch. Tsugi has not yet opened the door to the porch. What's Frankie doing?
She is... how to put this lightly? Having a fucking breakdown. But, like... The thing about Frankie is that, like, she is not the kind of person, even when she's, completely on her own, to ever really go to pieces entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not exactly crying or anything like that. She's not exactly she's not exactly in it. It's not as that there's not a lot to see, even if you were out there, except possibly the fact that the one hand of hers that does have fingers is, gripping onto the balcony extremely tightly, and she is breathing very quickly. And again, she's holding it together great. She is doing amazing.
Yeah, she's definitely not trembling throughout her entire body as she's got a white knuckle grip on the railing. And she's definitely back in that media conference. She's definitely right there. Definitely
where
not.
she's supposed to be.
Where she's supposed to be. So I think Tsugi, with all of his typical elegance, opens the door, which opens with a comes out to the porch, pulls out a cigarette. It is a real kind cigarette. Pulls out a lighter, lights the cigarette, puts the cigarette to his mouth. Would you like to make a quick perception check?
Oh, that thing that I'm amazing at. Oh, no, that was... you know what? That wasn't supposed to be a -1.
It also was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be a -2. 9.
A nice 9. This is visual enough, I'll give it to you. I just won't give you any of the other stuff. If Frankie was looking at the cigarette, as Tsugi has not yet spoken, she will have seen that the moment the cigarette touched his lips, it turned into like a lollipop, but at the part of the cigarette that was brown, it still stays brown. It just like shrinks to a lollipop even as the end is still burning. And when Tsugi pulls the lollipop out, it's definitely a lollipop. It's a little round dingle-dauber, but he still absolutely blows out smoke.
No, I love that visual joke. I'm very sorry. I'm getting slightly distracted because I don't have permissions to be in the roll zone. I can't send anything. It's been crossing me. I'm just gonna sort out technical difficulties for 1 second.
Don't worry, folks.
This is going amazingly.
We have people on the ground for this.
We do. I do want to do a very quick check. There we go. Hang on. I'm going to do a thing.
We love things.
13. Okay, cool. Yeah. That was a performance roll just to see how if she can actually pull it together. She kind of can't. So she isn't really. She looks absolutely no different. She does notice Tsugi. She looks over. She does see the cigarette thing. Honestly, all she says is, those things are going to kill you.
Everybody's dying slowly. What's a couple more years?
Well, that's a lot to unpack all at once.
So why unpack it at all? Let's talk about you. Tsugi turns slightly. He doesn't like face you directly. He's still facing out on the railing, but he's slightly turned to you and he's like, a lot of people back out there. I can see why you'd want to squirrel away for a moment.
No, nothing like that. I'm just come out to get a breath of fresh air. Like you said, there's a lot of people in there, and it tends to get, rather stuffy.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I'm sorry, she's like, the long pauses are going to just sort of have to be part of this conversation, which doesn't necessarily make for great audio, but just with the headspace that Frankie is currently in. And we've established before, off mic, that this is, like they've been, fighting and shit during the whole Museum Hermetica thing. They haven't really spent much time together since then. I think this is possibly actually the first time they may have, seen each other properly, and actually had an opportunity to talk. So she's not really looking for a fight in the way that will become fairly standard
in the future
from here. And there's still the possibility that all right, so Tsugi is she's only met this person for 12 hours under extremely traumatic circumstances. Maybe he's perfectly normal the rest of the time, who knows.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely a long moment, and Tsugi doesn't really seem uncomfortable during it. There's some people, Frankie most of the time, who are not comfortable with silence, but he seems pretty chill.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are right in that. For all that she is distracted, Frankie is not great with silence for a lot of time. So she is after a little bit, she is going to sort of shake herself a little bit. She stands noticeably more upright, kind of flexes her little toe beans from the grip that she's had on the balcony edge, and she's going to ask, I didn't get a chance to really check in with you after everything that went on. Biff, bless her, seems to be, she's a trooper. She's carrying on. I don't know about Ms. Phone, but I think she's
been
all
cleaning.
right.
She's been cleaning up a storm, is what she's been doing.
Yes, I really do need to go back and check on her. But my point being, I haven't had a chance to check in on you. I know that we had our differences, dear, but I suppose now that everything's all over and we're all just cleaning up, I wondered how you were doing.
How am I doing?
Yes, that's what I said.
He sort of looks at her, looks at the fence, which is ever so slightly mangled from how tightly she was gripping it, even though she's a wizard. Looks at her, takes another long drag of his cigarette. Lollipop. And I will really quickly mention, he does blow the smoke away from her, at least. He's not blowing it in her face.
Well, that's nice.
And goes, let's see, in the past, over the course of basically one day, I went from free meal to being trapped and people were dying all around me to, let's see, what exactly, how do we go from there? Being trapped with people around me to confronting the person who did it all, to being frozen by the person who did it all, to waking up and getting the person who did it all, to something happening upstairs. If you want to talk about that, by the by, I have the widest open ears. Something happening upstairs, everything going to shit, to I did kill the guy who did all this in the first place, and now I'm just waiting.
Excuse me, wait, what? Can we, sorry, I know that, we were going to, what did you do?
You haven't noticed that Elias is just gone?
Yes, but we were looking. What?
Did you think the cops picked him up or something?
Have you been destroying evidence?
Evidence?
Yes.
No.
That's generally what corpses are.
Okay. He sort of like chuckles, cigarette drops from his position between like right next to his face. It sort of like drops to the balcony. He's like, that man was barely unconscious. And that man liquefied, we know for a fact, over 100 people. And you wanted me to just let him live?
I understand that in a stressful situation, when confronted with somebody who, yes, did commit absolute atrocities, and tried to make me jump into a pit, by the way. Did you weren't there for that. He tried to make me walk backwards and jump into a pit. I mean, I didn't, obviously, but the sheer cheek of it. But yes, we have, the point being, we have justice systems for a reason.
I'm sorry. You wanted.
You can't just you can't just do that. What are you thinking?
You wanted the cops to deal with this guy. You wanted the people who. Oh, let me see. Way back when the engineer was getting framed for whatever the fuck it was, almost burned evidence. You wanted those guys. You wanted the people who, when there was that major jewel heist, almost stole the jewels for themselves until the thieves proved that they were the ones that were trying to steal it before the thieves stole it back. You wanted those guys to deal with a guy who liquefied people, toons, like us, and then random other people. You wanted them to deal with that guy so that he could come back around in our story arc and fuck shit up again. You wanted those guys to deal with that man. You wanted the plot to come back around.
Just hold on. Yes, I understand, It is not a perfect system, I will admit, but you can't just murder people. I mean, that is still very much a crime. It was a crime when he did it. It's a crime when you did it.
This is really your first storyline, isn't it, Sweet Cheek?
Thank you for that, Snail.
Oh, you're so welcome. Tsugi is just looking at Frankie, and he's like, I'm not sure if you know the thing about tunes, and the fact that you are one means that certain things happen around us, happen to us, we happen to it.
You don't need to explain extremely basic concepts like that to me.
But apparently I do, because the thing is, if you allow things to exist long enough to come back around, the universe has conspired that they will come back around. In killing Elias, I became a murderer. Sure, fine. But you know what else I did? I eliminated that murderer from the storyline. And do you have any idea how many people he could have killed if I didn't get him the moment he was unconscious? Because I don't even want to think about that. But if you wanted that blood on your hands, well, you could have just told me. This is not going well.
No, sorry. I just I made a roll. What was Tsugi's perception again? It's like, because I know it was something ridiculously high.
It's a 18, so you've actually passed it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no. By about 2. Okay, so yeah. So there's whilst you're talking, there is a expression that goes across Frankie's face for a brief second, but you don't catch exactly what it was. And all she says is, It was not your decision to make. It doesn't matter that you were the one there. You don't just get to show up and decide these things. For goodness sake, we could have talked to him and put him under some kind. We could have interrogated the man and gotten a significant head start on getting the victims back to their own selves and bodies. Did that ever cross your mind? Or were you too busy pursuing your own misguided idea of storyline justice to think more than, say, 5 seconds into the future?
Did you hear the crap he spewed? Even if you put him under zone of truth, he would have told you a bunch of technical truths that wouldn't have solved jack shit. And
the three of us are scientists. We are professionals. We are very, very good at putting together facts and extrapolating consequences from those. We would have been able to figure it out.
Yeah, but you're not thinking about the cost. Your morality, he makes big quotation marks, your morality is so concerned with the fact that, somebody who was absolutely horrible and literally murdered people is now dead. You're not considering the fact that there were many opportunities for a man like him to get away. I'm not sure you understand. We literally left him to come upstairs and find all the shit that happened because he was unconscious. More act like that when he
nothing, was... No. Whether we left him, and I don't know who you are including in we, by the way, I was gone long before that.
Tsugi makes a pointed look.
That was not within our control. Was it? But going back and deciding to remove somebody from the situation like that certainly is. That was a choice that you made.
That's a choice I'm proud that I made, and I am not proud of many decisions I have made. Listen, the thing about if you kill a murderer, you become a murderer, is you just gotta kill 2 murderers, and there's less murderers in the universe.
Unfortunately, I think the maths works out on that one.
Am I wrong? No, I'm not. And I'm not saying that I'm a serial killer that goes after serial killers. Gay people have already done that one. What I am saying is that as much as you don't want to admit it, the risks did outweigh the consequences. And you can't say jack shit to refute that.
Risks or not, you were wrong to do it, we've lost information, and you shouldn't have done it.
Oh.
She's going to, she will have, during this conversation, she would have turned towards Tsugi while they were getting more involved, but now she just sort of, she turns back to the balcony and is looking very firmly ahead of her. She is she is not interested in continuing this part of the conversation.
Tsugi, why are you wanting to make this worse? Why are you wanting to make this worse? Please don't make this worse. Please don't make this worse. God fucking damn it. Okay, so Tsugi says, hey, not once have I judged you or blamed you for your decision to...
You have been constantly judging me since the moment that we met. That's all you've been doing. I think that I don't think that we've had a single moment that we've known each other. where you haven't been trying to evaluate the best way to get under my skin, it seems.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I deny none of that. You didn't let me finish my sentence. The one thing that I haven't judged you for that everybody else probably is very willing to do is I haven't judged you for a second about whatever specifically happened with the gloop monster and the fact that Loki got tossed into that. I think that guy was a bad dude, and whatever happened to him, I think it was right. It still provides a problem, yes, but the moment we eliminate that problem from the storyline, I don't see the issue. Tsugi is aware that
that wasn't my fault. You have to understand. That wasn't my fault. The little brat was. Do you understand how?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand quite exactly what the Philosopher's Stone would have meant to not only the discipline of alchemy overall, but to my discipline? I mean, naturally it can't bring things back to life, but the mechanisms by which it does that would have been... And he was trying to just steal it! Just run off and sell it to whoever would buy it for the highest price quickest! So... I didn't do that on purpose. It wasn't my fault. You really, really have to understand that. But... I couldn't just let him do that, could I?
Frankie, again, I'm not blaming you.
She does not believe you.
Roll insight.
I'm trying to find my insight.
Hilariously, no matter what you roll, I'll give you the same answer.
Ha 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 ha. That was that again. Well, fine. 4.
He's not blaming you. But with a 5, you can believe whatever the hell you want about if that's true or not. and he takes another drag of his lollipop cigarette and he goes, that sort of like insult to everything fundamental to who you are makes you do crazy things, doesn't it? Like, say, going back and liquefying the guy who liquefied a bunch of tunes in a moment of ironic recompense.
They are not the same thing. They are not. I wasn't thinking clearly. I had justifiable reasons for putting myself in the situation that I did, but you were making a conscious, cold-blooded decision. They are not the same thing.
I'm sorry. Aren't you supposed to be the therapist around here? Don't you know the, haze that lasts after a traumatic experience? You really think I was right in the head? That's my legal defense, by the way, insanity.
I don't think that you are right in the head in general, frankly, if you want my professional opinion.
Tsugi doesn't take offense to that, funnily enough.
Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. At least you got rid of yours.
Hey, listen. All of us are going to be working on getting rid of yours, and I'm sure that everybody's going to be trying to figure out the best way to do that so that lives are preserved, so that your morality can stay intact. Might even get Lockie back, which would make Biff very happy. No matter how much of a dickhead he is.
He was very, very unpleasant, wasn't he?
Oh, he was the worst. Did you see how I literally laid out stuff that I had worked blood, sweat, and tears for, and he decided that he was going to ruin something that could save other people because he wanted money? Come on.
Yes, and then everything else happened. It's... People make such stupid decisions when confronted with something like that.
Morality or money?
Both.
So did fighting with me make you feel better yet?
Little bit, yes.
Hey.
Please tell me that's what you were doing for the vast majority of... Oh, gosh, was it only 3 nights ago? Oh, goodness. Please tell me that's what you were doing for the entire time and that you are not always like that. I don't think that I could handle it.
Tsugi turns around, claps her on the shoulder and says, "Glad I could help, buddy," and walks back in. And I know we only took like 30 minutes, but I think that was a short conversation. I can't think of anything else to add.
No, I mean, like, the point of FPS is that they are relatively short and they're supposed to cover, like, you know, a half an hour to an hour. And I think that, you know, I'm just having a think that, like,
Have we not covered everything?
I think, yeah, because again, there were a couple of times where I could have rolled for something, but also I kind of like it as it is.
Like, Tsugi technically could press on some stuff, but back then he was a little more chill than he is at the moment. So I don't think he would have.
Having not nearly drowned and generally being put under constant stress will do too.
I would love to get Tsugi back to chilled, but we'll see when that happens.
He goes, oh, you know what we should do. At the possibly at the end of the next chapter, possibly after the first session of the next chapter, we should come back to a conversation like this and just sort of check in on how things have kind of progressed, because these two they are certainly a lot more volatile with each other. But there has also been an extremely questionable moment after, nearly drowning. And I don't want to just let that kind of hang around, because I did not strictly mean that as a joke. That was something that I do want to vaguely poke at once we have, a moment to breathe. So I think we should come back to that at some point.
Absolutely. I will gladly do that, but I think we should leave the actual scheduling of that for another time.
Yeah, whenever it is appropriate.
Yeah, we will absolutely poke at that. Don't think for a second that Tsugi isn't, like, thinking about that moment amongst all of the other moments that he's thinking about in his very overfull brain right now.
He's got too many thoughts, head full.
All right. In the meantime, I think I'll go ahead and say bye, everybody!
Bye!